Glad to have you here. And I know Coach is pumped about starting spring practice, so we'll turn it over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most importantly, right?
Exactly.
We'll turn it over to Coach.
All right. Thank y'all for coming. Really am. I'm excited about this spring and what we've got coming back. We've got quite a bit of experience offensively and defensively coming back. Even as you look at the starting parts of it, a bunch of those guys, whether they started every game last year or they've started games throughout their career here, still got a lot of experience coming back. This is probably the most experienced team we've had on both sides of the ball since I've been here, as far as guys being able to step in, be able to really do the things that we want to do, start spring off a little bit faster from an install standpoint and give them an opportunity. It's the first time since year 2 for me that we've got our returning quarterback, and I'm excited about that. He's had a good offseason and excited to get back in spring ball and let him continue to keep working and growing. And so, I think back to those guys that have gotten to experience year 2 within what we do offensively, and so as I look back to their growth and maturity and what they were able to do, those same expectations I feel like are sitting on Zach right now, and I know he's up to the challenge. But it takes everybody around us to get that done. So we'll start off Sunday and excited about that part of it. Hopefully the weather, this has been a crazy winter between all the rain and, we got snow last night of all things. So we'll see how all of that plays itself out. But I know Sunday's supposed to be beautiful, and then we'll start adjusting after that as weather permits. So defensively, as you look, obviously we got a couple of guys right now that are at the combine, and really excited and happy for them. I know they're excited to be there and ready to compete and kind of show what they're going to be able to do. Those are some big shoes to fill as we step into it. Cullen Wick has had an unbelievable winter. I continue to just be amazed at some of the things he's doing right now. So that's got to translate into spring ball and translate into the fall. He's shown flashes of it throughout his career here. But as you look at us defensively, I know obviously you're losing a lot of production in Trevis. You're losing a lot of production in a Cooper. BJ had a heck of a year. Manny's had a tremendous career here, and so there's some holes to fill there, but I'm excited about the young guys that are stepping up and ready to compete and take over those reins. And we still have a lot of those necessary tools that we need defensively to continue to keep the progression that we've made over the last couple of years. And so Coach Gillespie did a fantastic job in our defensive staff, and I'm excited to see as we get into spring ball, as they start implementing new things, we'll implement new things, and getting a chance to compete with each other. So really want to wish Trevis and Reggie good luck, and excited for their experience this week, and then really excited for spring ball to start on Sunday.
What is the next step for Zach, specifically in the offense more generally?
Yeah, I thought our progression as far as in our passing game really dramatically improved last year, and we've still got a lot of steps to go there. I mean, obviously for him, one of those things is we got to protect the ball a little bit better. I think he was accurate, especially given time. When we keep him upright and allow our receivers to continue to develop through routes, he's going to find those guys that are open and be able to be real accurate with the football. So we want to continue that part of it. We've got to do a better job in the protection side of it. And then I think for us, we've got to rush the football better. The games that we ran the football well, everything else fell into place. And so even if you go back to our last game of the season, I think we ended up with over 300 yards rushing and over 300 yards passing. That balance is what we're searching for, but obviously there's a lot of different ways to get into that. Sometimes you want to establish the run early and then let the passing game kind of go. There may be games in there where, hey, this box is really, really heavy. We've got to lighten it up by being able to throw it and take advantage of those matchups and situations that we get. And I think, we've got all of those receivers back except for Keenan. And so those guys, another year underneath their belt, another year of working together, and I expect great things from them.
how's it changed, I guess, the process for you and for Zach going into spring ball without having a quarterback competition?
Well, I think more than anything else, all the talk on the outside, there's having your starter back, there's a true set leader on that side of the football and a way that you operate within that. Guys understand, hey, this is a guy that's going to take the majority of the reps. He's going to be with the ones. I'm trying to get timing down with those guys. I think it just lays out a little bit different plan for you from that standpoint, and I think guys start gelling faster than when you're kind of battling two guys. They're working through that process, and everybody's trying to figure that part of it out. You just get more reps, more time to click, more time to gel, and I think things come together a little better.
You mentioned the protection side of things. How do you feel about the potential of the offensive line, and also what have you seen from Zach Hanson in these last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm excited about having Zach on our staff. I think he's going to be a great addition for us. We'll find out a whole lot more as we get on the field and get together. He's brought some really good ideas. We're changing some thoughts and some schematical deals. We've made some changes, and we're going to look at some guys, moving them around a little bit as far as those guys up front. We're losing Chris Ivy, which is, he's been a multiple-year starter, done a great job for us. Tyler Smith had to step in on a couple of games, started a couple of games, and played extremely well. So you've got potentially all 5 of those guys back. Now we're going to shuffle them around a little bit and try some different looks throughout the spring and make sure that we've got those 5 guys in the right spot. There's going to be some competition in a couple of those areas, and so you always like the competition side of it. But we want to shuffle those guys around a little bit and make sure that we've got them in the right areas, and we're going to move a couple of them day one, and let's see what it looks like and go from there.
From the outside, it always seemed like the way you guys coached offensive line was part of what made things distinct here, distinctive for you guys, and to tweak that some strikes me as really interesting. What went into deciding to look at a couple of different things?
Yeah, I don't think our mindset or our philosophy is changing from that standpoint. We've always said big guys rule the world here, and we want to make sure that we are physical in our run game. We want to be downhill and part of it. But we also want to be intelligent about what defenses are doing to us and being able to use the strengths of what we have up front as well as what we have in the backfield. I think we got some guys back there that can tote the rock. And, you get Shamari back, you get Corey back. TK showed lots of good flashes last year. Lovick is going to be, I think, a really special player, a guy that we redshirted last year. He played a little bit in the last game. But is bringing another edge to us there. And so we want to make sure that we're getting those guys touches, but we're also making our running game be complementary to what their skill set is and what we do. So trying to marry those things together, I think just expanding on some thoughts and philosophies schematically, and then being able to attack what defenses are giving us right now.
The game is always changing. It's hard to stay ahead of the curve. How important is it to have some new ideas?
Yeah, I thought we did a really good job last year. We put in some new things that really helped us as we got into the season, especially the latter part of the season as you got more reps and more time to really dive into it. We'll do that same thing. We do it every year, but you're always looking for one advantage, trying to gain an edge somewhere, trying to gain a hat somewhere. Any way that you can do that defensively, they're doing the same thing. So we've got to continue to push the envelope when it comes to that and try to stay on the edge of it and make sure that we are using the talent that we have in the right way, giving those guys opportunities to be successful. You can't always just take this guy and plug him into this system. We got to make sure that our system is working along with the players that we have right now and taking advantage of the skill sets that they have and giving them opportunities to be successful week in and week out.
Talking about the 2 guys that are at the combine, what does that say not just about the talent here, but the development of that talent that you guys have?
Yeah, I give a lot of credit to our coaches. They do a great job of evaluating talent. A lot of times we're trying to project some guys, right? Making sure that this guy, we're trying to look into his future. What is his weight going to be able to hold? Where is his frame going to take him? You know, you look at an Anthony Goodlow, for instance, right? You know, he's a guy that played safety in high school. Now he's playing defensive end for us. You look at Zaven Collins, who played quarterback and safety in high school, and now he's been our will linebacker for a couple of years now. I mean, we're having to project those guys, and then you're rolling the dice and taking some chances, but you're also doing it with the mindset of, I know he's bringing these things to the table, and this is where I think we can make him fit into what we do with what his body is taking him to do. So our coaches have done a really good job of that, and then just developing talent. You look at our league and how our league just continues to get better and more talented, and every year more guys are drafted out of it. And so obviously week in, week out, we got to compete with those guys. And so, EA and his staff have done a great job of developing guys as far as the strength and the conditioning part of it. And then we've got to continue to keep doing that from a skill set standpoint. But I think it does show what we're bringing into this place. And you got to give Travis and Reggie and those guys credit too, because they're putting in the time and the work and believing in what's happening.
Is that sort of thing pretty well received in recruiting when you can point to,
Oh,
Travis
yeah.
came in a skinny kid and now look at him, in the combine?
No doubt. And Travis will be the first one to talk about that. He came in at 205 pounds, and he just weighed in, I think, this morning at 261, if I'm not mistaken. So, he put a lot of time and effort into it, as well as a lot of guys around here. But I couldn't have been more proud to watch those guys in the Senior Bowl and what they were, both of them made impacts in that. Got to watch them practice one day, and they did an outstanding job there. I think it just shows the direction of our program, where we're headed, and we just got to continue to keep climbing that hill.
You guys obviously have a few disappointing seasons. You're trying to break out of. Last year it was real close. If a couple of those heartbreaking losses would have gone the other way, you might have gone to a bowl game. How much pressure do you feel for this to be the season that you get back?
Yeah, I'm not really feeling all that pressure part of it. I'm excited about spring. I'm excited about what our guys are doing right now in winter workout. Excited to get on the field with them. Not going to live my life in fear, right? I'm excited about the opportunities we have in front of us, and I think we have a great chance to have another great year. I love that at least we're getting to start this year at home, and we'll play a home opponent, and then we'll go right down the road a little bit to Stillwater. And I was hoping a bunch of their guys would go ahead and come out, but they didn't. They stayed. So it'll be a great contest. They're going to be really talented again, and so. But for our guys, right now, it's all about focusing on us getting better, us continuing to take the next step, and when we get to fall, we'll start worrying about who we got in front of us.
At least on the outside, don't want to use the term message boards, but where people talk about these things, it's perceived as kind of a make or break season. Do you feel any responsibility to keep that stuff out of this building and away from players, assistant coaches, or because it matters so much to you guys and you put so much work in, do you not worry too much about it?
The pressure is every year. So, I don't read message boards and I don't do all that stuff. So, for me, it's focusing in on our players and what we got to do. And every year, our goal is to win. Get bowl eligible, go win the conference, have the best year that we can possibly have. So, there's no unnecessary extra pressure or whatever out there for us. We got a job to do, and we're excited to get back to work with it.
Where are you guys, health-wise? Are there some guys who are going to be held out from spring?
Yeah, we got a couple. Obviously, Caleb had his shoulder done during the season. We've got a couple of guys that had surgeries in December that are not quite back, but everybody's progressing extremely well. You may get a couple of those guys back midway through spring ball, but we got a couple guys banged up, but not a large number.
You mentioned Wick during your opening statement.
Mm-hmm.
What about him has impressed you so much, like you said?
Well, he's just physically right now, he's blowing things off the chart. Whether you're talking about what he's doing on the running side of it, the explosion side of it in the weight room. You get to a point in there where enough weight is enough. You know, you can keep adding it, and he could probably do more, but why, right? Because you've reached kind of that number, and that's kind of where he's at right now. And so now it's about taking all that stuff that he's doing and making it translate onto the field and making it translate for every play. You know, it can't just show sparks of it. It's got to be consistent. He's got to be that type of player for us, and I think he can and will be.
We asked the question at the end of every season for the last game, how important is it to go into the offseason on a win? And then I don't know if we ever asked the follow-up question. So is there a big difference? Can you see a difference in this team coming off a win in the last game of the season?
Well, you know, you always want to finish it that way, right? And it does help you carry some momentum of what you think is the potential of your upcoming season, if you will. You know, I think the way that we went out and won, you know, defensively, I thought they played extremely well again, and then offensively, you know, obviously probably our most dominating performance of the year. We did exactly what we wanted to do. We established the run. We threw the ball effectively. We were explosive in both aspects of that. I think there's a lot of positive things that you carry off of that. I think it shows when we line up and get done what we need to get done. This is who we can be. This is who we're going to be. Now we got to go out and do it. You know, we can't talk about it. We got to go be about it.
You lose quite a few starters on defense, but you mentioned off the top this is the most experienced group you've had. I take that has a lot to do with the way you guys have built depth defensively. Can you talk to me about how that's happened over the course of 5 years, building some depth on
you know, just being able to rotate some guys in and give them some opportunities. And then, you know, we've battled some injuries here. And guys have had to be thrown into some situations, and that has allowed us to establish a little bit more depth from that standpoint as well. You know, as you look at it, Cooper's a big factor in there. I mean, the guy that's had over 100 tackles every year that he's been the starter. But there's a lot of linebackers that have had starting experience, that have played in a lot of games, and so, you know, we're going to have to shuffle those guys around a little bit, look at some different ideas in there, whether you move Zaven around or you leave Zaven where he's at. You move Johansi around, leave him where he's at. You know, you got Robert and Grant and, Justin has played a little bit, especially on special teams. And then we got some freshman guys that we redshirted last year that got a little bit of special teams action. The spring is kind of where you make your name for yourself. And so it'll be a great competition in there and see how Coach Gillespie and his staff kind of, move those pieces around. Again, making sure that we've got the best 11 guys on the field for us at one time. So I think there's some unique type of personnel changes that we can make, and we'll see how all that plays itself out.
Speaking of special teams, how much better do you think your kicking game will be this year?
Well, I hope a lot. Honestly, Thomas had a tremendous year, and Thomas is. It'll be hard to replace Thomas. I'm excited about our punter on campus, and he's been here. I know what type of leg he has now. I haven't seen him do it underneath the lights yet. I'm excited about that part of it for him, but I think he brings a lot of different things to the table, whether you want to start rugby in it and being traditional, doing some different things like that within our punt unit. I think he's got the ability to do that. But Thomas did a great job for us here. So we'll see how that kind of manifests itself as we get further along. Zach did a pretty good job, I thought, last year as far as handling our kickoff duties and then seeing him and how he'll progress. And then obviously we've got a freshman kid with a big leg coming in, and he's going to be young, but he'll be battling for it, and we'll see what happens in spring ball. So we're going to be working those things and getting an opportunity to see it and trying to make the best decision we can to give ourselves an opportunity to be successful in the kicking game.
With the time off, did you get any chance to check out some other programs, see how they put their stuff together for your own program?
Yeah, we're always doing that, and if you're talking about the kicking game specifically, most of those guys, especially if you look in the league, they just fire their kicker and hire another one. And they don't get it right half the time either. So it's a roll of the dice type of deal in the kicking game part of it. But as far as what we're doing, you're always looking for new ideas and new ways to approach things. You want to be ahead of the game from that standpoint, and there's guys that have great ideas out there. I'm always looking at their practice schedules and seeing how it fits ours and adjustments that we can make to to get the most out of the time that we have them, because you're limited in that, especially in the spring. So always looking to improve in those areas.
Any thoughts on the proposed changes to transfer rules where kids could one time leave and play right away?
You know, we've got several transfers sitting here right now that I would like to be eligible. You know, there's so many things that kind of go into that part of it. You know, if you're going to do that, then, you know, to me, you got to make it across the board, and if that's going to be the case for the one time, then the restriction on the next time, if a kid tries to want to transfer again, then there ought to be a deal at that part of it. You know, you got to make some guidelines, I think, to it. You know, we've had guys leave our program, we've had guys come to our program. So the transfer portal is not going to go away, and it continues to keep gaining momentum. I think we just got to be a little bit more, how do I say it? There should not be any disparaging between all of it. You know what I'm saying? If this guy's going to go and get eligible immediately, then, you know, this guy over here should have that same opportunity. And so that would be all I would say probably about it.
How much harder has it become, even just since your first year as head coach, to manage an 85-man roster with the portal?
A lot harder. With the portal and the things that are going on, it makes it very difficult because you have no control over any of that, right? So, you know, you may have 10 kids come in and all of a sudden jump in the portal, and if they're all at one position and then you start trying to fix your numbers and trying to build depth, and it makes it very difficult. And so you're always trying to plan ahead, but you can't oversign. But, you know, you got to make sure of these numbers, and it's made it rough from that standpoint.
I would think it puts you in a situation where you almost have to guess, this kid, you know, it's not working out for him the way I'd like. But in the past, you would have, I would think, you know, try to make it a learning experience for the kid, right? Like push him and get him to kind of grow as a man. I mean, that was the idea back in the day, but now you almost have to look at your roster and think, okay, well, we're going to lose some.
I think you're right in that, in the sense of, you know, in years past, you're probably telling him, hey, it's about work, you know, being patient, staying diligent, trusting the process, and understanding your opportunity's going to come. You just got to continue to keep growing and grinding through that. You've got some guys in front of you right now that are older, that are more experienced, that are pretty good players. Your time's going to be there. You just got to be patient. The patient card has been thrown away, and guys want satisfaction right now. And so if they're not getting it, their immediate reaction is, I'll just jump in the portal, go somewhere else. So, you know, we try to do a really good job in the recruiting process about talking about those things and understanding what this is. You know, you wouldn't be recruited if you weren't the best players on your team. And so you've never had that opportunity where you've had to sit and learn and be patient. And so understand, everybody in our locker room down there was the best player on their team. So the competition level continues to increase, and, you know, it's what you do and make the most of the opportunities that you get.
Last game was, what, end of November? Is that right? It was the beginning of December. I can't remember what day it was.
Yeah.
You got a couple months of off-season, winter conditioning, and early morning workouts. How much more eager are these guys to get on the field, quit doing the running and the lifting and the
it's been a challenging off season, you know, and that's what we want. That's what they want, and you know, those guys are hungry to get back on the practice field and do the thing that they love to do, which is play ball. So all those things are needed to get to this point, but they're ready to actually get on the field, and they're kind of biting at the bit to get that done. They're excited about it, and I think Sunday's supposed to be a beautiful day, and we're going to try to take advantage of it while we got it.
What about as a coach? Are you more eager to get on the field going through off season, or?
Yeah, you know, I want to see those things translate. You know, the things that I've been seeing in winter conditioning. You know, guys changing directions, their burst, their speed. You're seeing guys' sizes change. You know, this guy's put on weight, this guy's lost a little bit. You know, you want to see how that all kind of manifests itself on the field. And then as you start making changes, you know, moving some pieces around, trying to change some things schematically, you're seeing some things that you did really well, some things that you know that you got to improve on. and as you're implementing those new things, how they fit into it, how it fits your personnel. Those things are exciting. This is a great time of year for all of that.
Anything else? Thank you, guys.
Good.
Appreciate it.
All right, good seeing y'all. Appreciate you coming out.